Weazel News. We're not making this up.
Good evening, Los Santos. Tonight's special story is one that many have been eagerly awaiting to hear. Weazel News here with an exclusive scoop on yesterday's court proceedings. Tensions were running high at the courthouse during the pretrial arraignments of some very high-profile cases. One case in particular that Weazel News is following is the case of Jasper Elliott. This individual has an extensive list of charges that he's being tried for and is suspected to be the notorious criminal called the Highwayman. The Highwayman is known for very violent murders and, upon capture, has been held at Bolingbroke Penitentiary without release while awaiting his upcoming trial. Elliott pled not guilty to the charges and will be going to trial within 10 days from the arraignment. We now take you to our reporter team who was in the field getting this scoop.
Los Santos, good evening. This is Logan Davis in front of the San Andreas State Courthouse, awaiting arrival of multiple felons before their pre-trial arraignment. As we stand here now, we await Edward Jasper, Maxine Devereaux, Bernie Lomax, Jesus Garcia, Jasper Elliott, as they come to face Honorable Judge Plum and learn their fate. But as we stand here now, we begin to see the process of justice firsthand. And for most of you here in Los Santos, it's the first time you'll be able to see all of this yourselves in your own homes, or on your phones because you don't own a TV anymore. This is Logan Davis, as we begin our night here at the courthouse.
With the completion of the pre-trial arraignments, Weazel News got the opportunity to speak directly with the district attorney about the results.
So, Weazel News and viewers around, I think justice was served today. Well, you may read in the tabloids and in the papers that Mr. Edward Jasper was sentenced to 2 life sentences in prison. Miss Maxine Devereaux was sentenced to a life sentence in prison as well. Mr. Bernie Lomax was given 35 years with time served taken into consideration. Mr. Lomax is eligible for release within 7 days. Mr. Jesus Garcia was in prison for 93 days prior and had received a life sentence for it. Considering time served, Mr. Jesus Garcia was eligible for release immediately. Finally, we have Mr. Elliott Jasper. To be frank, I don't know what to expect from him. Someone who has committed so many heinous crimes and has no remorse. I think today in the courtroom you saw people are objects to him. As he stated, assets only tie you down. He's more than willing to get rid of any assets or any objects. I look forward to serving justice to Mr. Elliott Jasper. Court arraignment will be held within 10 days, and my team will be putting together a very solid case against Mr. Elliott Jasper. I do not wish to see this person, with no remorse, to ever be on the streets of San Andreas or Los Santos ever again. To the people of Los Santos, I will do you justice. To his victims and their families, I will do you justice as well. I look forward to putting Mr. Jasper behind bars. I will not sleep until he is. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Director Johnny Dazzler with the San Andreas State Police. I stand before you on the outside of Bolingbroke Penitentiary, a home and a place where some of the most dangerous individuals, the most cutthroat people that would pose a risk to the general public reside at. Today was a great day for not only the SASP, but for our overall justice system. Individuals who, within recent memory, have caused great strife, great pain, and have hurt people that we care about now are going to be here, and they will no longer be hurting anyone else. The SASP is going through a reformation period where we will be overlooking how we normally operate, as well as service the the general public. If there's anyone out there that would like to speak with me personally on how we can improve our stance and our operations to better benefit everyone that lives in this state, feel free to reach out to myself, my Assistant Director McBride, or my Captain Craig Dale. We want to work with you, but we need your help to do it. We need to finally get this state back to a period and an era where living outside and being able to live our lives is not something that we fear or cannot go home and genuinely do. Help us help you, folks. Help us keep those streets safe. That's all.
Los Santos, good evening. This is Logan Davis here, right outside of Bolingbrook. Currently standing here is Director Dazzler here with me. Just a few small questions, sir, about the post-court situation. Now, I do have to ask two thoughts, things I'd noticed whenever we were standing in the courtroom. And the first one was rather obvious. Jesus Garcia, he seemed to point at you whenever he was leaving the stand. What did you feel about that? What did you feel? Was it like a cold shot, you could say?
Well, you see, sir, the relationship between myself and Mr. Garcia is one that dates quite a bit back. I'm actually the officer that brought him in for the charges that he had already placed out for his arrest, being the warrant and the additional charges when he attempted to to take me out back in a couple months ago out in the Cypress Flats area. So there's a lot of, I guess, bad blood there.
And do you feel now with his sentence being complete, now that he's actually free on the street after today, do you feel retaliation? Or do you feel he may be a rehabilitated man? You see things behind the scenes we don't. Do you feel Los Santos is safe with him being on the street?
Well, you see, sir, I'm a man that believes in second chances. When it comes to Mr. Garcia, one of the things he did mention to me before he was arrested and sentenced was an individual that wanted a different life than the one that he was brought into. That being said, he continued a life of crime, a life of highly violent acts, not only to civilians but law enforcement officers. The amount of time that he has stayed up in this penitentiary can change a man. There's an individual in that penitentiary, Bob Coolidge, the other day when I made conversation with him in passing. He advised that he was miserable. Inside Bolingbrook is not a playground, it's not a playhouse. It is a place where people go to pay for the deeds that they've done and the people that they've hurt. I'd like to give the benefit of the doubt with Mr. Garcia being a newly released individual to the general populace that hopes that he has been rehabilitated and is hopefully going to be a contributing member of society are in fact true. However, only time will tell. In the meantime, the San Andreas State Police will be continuing their patrols. We have enlisted and brought in over 10 separate cadets that are now in the FTO program. So the presence of the SASP will be noticed, and we will continue to do what we do best, which is keep the citizens of Los Santos and San Andreas safe from harm.
This is Logan Davis with Director Johnny Dazzler here at Bolingbrook Prison. Thank you, Los Santos. We'll see you in the morning.